Once upon a time in a small village in southeastern Nigeria, there lived a young Igbo girl named Amanda. Amanda was known for her bright eyes and infectious laughter, which once filled her home with joy. Her life, however, took a tragic turn when her father passed away unexpectedly. The loss left Amanda and her mother, Agatha, heartbroken and struggling to make ends meet. Agatha, a strong and resilient woman, did her best to provide for Amanda. She worked long hours in the market, selling vegetables and handmade crafts. Despite her efforts, it was never quite enough. Eventually, Agatha remarried, hoping to bring some stability back into their lives. Her new husband, Charles, was a stern and authoritative man. He had little patience for children and often looked at Amanda with disdain. He saw her as an extra mouth to feed rather than a child in need of love and care. His presence cast a shadow over the household, turning it into a place of tension and fear. Amanda's days became filled with chores and silent tears. She would wake up before dawn to fetch water from the stream, sweep the compound, and help her mother in the kitchen. She barely had time for school, and her once bright eyes began to lose their sparkle. Charles would often scold her for the smallest mistakes, his harsh words leaving deep emotional scars. Amanda's life under Charles's roof was a series of painful and degrading experiences. Charles's maltreatment took many forms, each designed to break her spirit and assert his dominance over her and her mother. Charles often resorted to physical violence to assert control. He would slap or beat Amanda for minor mistakes, like spilling water or not completing her chores to his satisfaction. The bruises on her arms and legs were a constant reminder of his cruelty. Once, he struck her so hard that she could not attend school for a week, fearing the questions that her injuries would provoke. Charles's verbal abuse was relentless and brutal. He would call Amanda names, belittling her intelligence and worth. "You are worthless, just like your dead father," he would sneer, his words cutting deep into Amanda's heart. He constantly told her that she was a burden, and that her presence was an inconvenience. Charles was a master of emotional manipulation. He would give Amanda false hope by pretending to care about her well-being, only to snatch it away cruelly. Once, he promised to buy her a new pair of shoes for school, only to give them to his biological daughter instead, leaving Amanda in tears. He took pleasure in watching her disappointment and pain. Charles isolated Amanda from her friends and peers. He forbade her from playing with other children in the village, insisting that she stay home to work. This isolation made her feel lonely and unwanted, stripping her of the simple joys of childhood. Her social skills suffered, and she often felt like an outsider even when she was among her peers. Charles imposed heavy labor on Amanda, far beyond what was appropriate for her age. She was made to fetch water, clean the house, tend to the garden, and even help with his personal tasks. The physical toll was immense, leaving her exhausted and with little time for her studies or any form of relaxation. Charles showed his disdain for Amanda's education by making it difficult for her to attend school regularly. He would often keep her home on important school days, knowing it would hinder her progress. When she did go to school, he refused to provide the necessary materials, forcing her to borrow from classmates or go without. Despite these numerous forms of abuse, Amanda's spirit remained unbroken. Each act of cruelty only fueled her determination to escape and build a better life. Her inner strength grew as she silently endured Charles's torments, and she promised herself that one day she would rise above the pain and suffering. One evening, as the sun set and the village began to quiet down, Amanda overheard a conversation between her mother and Charles. He was complaining about the financial burden of keeping Amanda in the house. His words cut through Amanda like a knife. "She is not my responsibility. We can't afford to keep her here." Agatha, torn between her love for her daughter and her need to keep peace in her marriage, tried to reason with him. But Charles's mind was made up. He demanded that Amanda be sent to live with distant relatives in another village. The next morning, with a heavy heart, Agatha packed a small bag for Amanda. She hugged her daughter tightly, tears streaming down her face. "Be strong, my child," she whispered. "I will always love you." As Amanda walked away from the only home she had ever known, she felt an overwhelming sense of abandonment and sorrow. She looked back one last time to see her mother's tear-streaked face, then turned to face the uncertain future ahead. In her new home, Amanda faced a different set of challenges. Her relatives were kind but overburdened with their own struggles. Amanda often felt like an outsider, longing for the warmth and familiarity of her mother's embrace. She found solace in her studies, dreaming of a day when she could return to her village and make her mother proud. Though life had dealt her many hardships, Amanda's spirit remained unbroken. She held on to the hope that one day, she would rise above her circumstances and create a better life for herself and her mother. And so, with each passing day, Amanda's determination grew stronger, fueled by the love and memories of the family she had left behind. Years passed, and Amanda, now a young woman, had grown into a resilient and intelligent individual. She excelled in her studies, driven by the promise she made to herself to make her mother proud. Despite the hardships she faced, Amanda never lost sight of her dreams. One day, a letter arrived from her village. It was from her mother, Agatha, who had finally managed to find the courage to reach out. The letter was filled with words of love and longing, and it ended with a simple request: "Please come home, my daughter. I miss you dearly." With the letter clutched tightly in her hands, Amanda felt a surge of determination. She knew it was time to return to her village and reunite with her mother. Gathering her few belongings, she set out on the journey back home, her heart filled with hope and anticipation. When Amanda arrived at the village, she was greeted with familiar sights and sounds that brought tears to her eyes. As she approached her old home, she saw her mother standing at the doorway, waiting for her with open arms. The reunion was filled with tears of joy and heartfelt embraces, as mother and daughter were finally reunited after so many years of separation. However, life in the village had not been kind to Agatha. Charles's harshness had only grown worse over the years, and his treatment of Agatha had become more abusive. Amanda could see the toll it had taken on her mother, and she knew she had to do something to protect her. Drawing on the strength and resilience she had developed over the years, Amanda confronted Charles. She stood tall and unwavering, her voice steady as she spoke. "You will not hurt my mother anymore," she declared. "We deserve to live in peace and happiness, and we will no longer be your victims." Charles, taken aback by Amanda's courage, realized that he could no longer control them through fear. He grudgingly agreed to leave, unable to match the determination in Amanda's eyes. As he walked away, Amanda felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She and her mother were finally free from his oppressive presence. With Charles gone, Amanda and Agatha began to rebuild their lives together. They supported each other through the challenges, finding strength in their bond and the love they shared. Amanda resumed her studies and soon earned a scholarship to attend university in the city. She excelled in her studies, earning top honors and recognition for her hard work and dedication. Years later, Amanda graduated with a degree in law, determined to use her education to fight for justice and protect the vulnerable. She returned to her village, where she set up a legal clinic to help those in need, especially women and children facing abuse and exploitation. Her work brought hope and change to the community, and she became a symbol of resilience and empowerment. Through it all, Agatha remained by her side, her heart swelling with pride at the remarkable woman her daughter had become. Together, they created a life filled with love, hope, and purpose, leaving behind the shadows of their past. Amanda's story became an inspiration to many, a testament to the power of determination and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her daughter. In the end, Amanda fulfilled her promise, making her mother proud and creating a brighter future for both of them.